I see the effect. I hear from people constantly what effect it has had on them. Being surprised and shocked and moved, and that has a real transformative effect, I think.
It's just about an opening or an unlocking of understanding, and I think it does it so on such a human level. You know, it's not about understanding the policy or understanding what the laws are, it's understanding what the human experience is, which is always just about life and death. And I think that's why it works so well.
These are the true words of people who we've spoken to, and this is the way they wanted it told to you.
The readings are really impactful because of their simplicity.
We have 3 actors on chairs with scripts and an audience.
We're not putting on a play, we're not putting on a performance, we are sharing real people's real experiences.
I remember the first time I read the stories, I was pretty emotional.
It pulls no punches. It's not trying to paint anyone into a particular type of person. It just simply lays out people's experience. It gives you a full scope of humanity, the laughter, the challenges, the wins, the resilience, the joy, the pushbacks and the come again, and the pushbacks and the come again, and it's all there.
There was one occasion where I was reading the testimony of someone who came to watch. That day I was really nervous because I was like, I have a huge responsibility here, that person is here. In the end, they actually couldn't sit and listen because it was too much, but we spoke afterwards and they were really grateful that we were doing this and that we were getting their story out there. And it's so important that those people aren't having to kind of relive their trauma, but they're very happy that, you know, people are hearing this.
I went to a meeting and there was a woman there from Iraq, and her name was Amal Hassan Basri. And someone asked her, "Oh, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what happened?" And she told us her story. She had got on one of these boats and the boat had been overcrowded and it had sunk and hundreds of people drowned around her. And she managed to survive by holding onto a dead body. And listening to her speak in her own way, in her own time, not being asked questions in a journalistic style, just being able to express what she wanted to express. It was a sort of a light bulb moment. I thought, oh, if only people could hear this.
Growing up, the sort of experience of living in the UK as a refugee and being different, being other, it was a story that never really, I felt like I could communicate or, you know, people could understand very well. I always knew that my parents had come from this country, from Chile, that they had sort of quite traumatic experiences there, but I learned about my parents' experiences through theatre, actually. So it was, my dad took me at quite a young age to go and see a production called Death and the Maiden, which is the story of a woman who experiences torture, and many years later she's in sort of her summer house with her husband, and her husband has brought someone home whose car's broken down, and it turns out to be her torturer. And this was the first time I was given a real understanding of what my parents had experienced.
Then I came to the UK in 2004. I started looking around and reading The Sun, reading the Daily Mail, reading the tabloid press, talking to people and thinking, I think there's a place for this kind of project in the UK as well.
Within the media and also within our own government, there's such a narrative of hostility towards migrants and asylum seekers.
It really makes you think about what it means when you describe people in swarms. When you look at the situations under which people came here, a lot of which is precipitated historically by British action in the home countries and in the home territories, as they were called, when Britain occupied these places and denuded them of resources, and I shall not go on that rant. But here, there's a reason why people come here. And when you hear the story, you can't but see people. I was 14. At that age where girls are talking about boyfriends, boys are talking about girlfriends, but me? No. I didn't tell anyone. In Uganda, if your kid is found to be homosexual, Our families treasure preserving respect, so they'd rather send you away or call the police about you.
I grew up in the eastern part of the Congo. A middle-class life, 6 brothers, 2 sisters, big strong family. My father was a medical doctor, I was a teacher.
I came back to Uganda after competing in the Glasgow Commonwealth Games and dined with the president at a state dinner. After that, my girlfriend and I went out to drink and have fun. The next morning, my neighbor saw the door was not locked, and she just walked in and saw us. And her reaction, like, oh my God. If people heard her screaming and got to us in this situation, they would first beat you or kill you and then start asking questions.
I joined the protest in Damascus. Really, it was a good feeling. We thought it worked with other countries, Egypt, Tunisia. I thought in a few months, Syria will go back to normal. Better than normal.
The soldiers came to our village. They would kill people. They would rape people, cut the breasts off women, and you're just seeing it. Some days I relive those memories and I start to feel panic.
When it came to the elections, we started going to the village to tell people that we needed votes for the opposition. Then these plainclothes policemen started coming to the village. I wasn't really bothered about that. I didn't think that it would go far, so I kept going. 11 days before the election, they came to our house and took us.
Because I had just competed in the Commonwealth Games, my visa for the UK was still valid. Immediately, I booked a ticket, no matter the costs.
We were taken to an army prison and the torture began. The torture that I went through, I just wish no human being would go through something like that.
They took me to a small room with no windows. I stayed in that room for 90 days. I don't know how I coped. When I managed to escape, I said, no one could protect me in Syria. I knew I had to leave.
I got involved in campaigning to remove the president. I enjoyed it, but the authorities discovered what we were doing and I was seriously beaten by 4 soldiers. Before taking me away, I asked them permission to go to the toilet. I knew there was a hole in the wall. I jumped through and I escaped. Some people from my group, they found me a false passport and gave me a ticket. I didn't know anything about the UK, how it was. I just knew that if I was abroad, I would be protected.
After almost a year, some men told us they were going to help us escape. 5 of us broke out, 3 died, because they shot at us. When we came to the airport, the man who was with me said, I'm taking you to somewhere safe. Actually, it was when I got here, I realised it was Heathrow. And I was like, where is Heathrow?
In Calais, I tried for 64 nights. I tried to get onto a truck, under a truck. Finally, I found a smuggler who sold me a British passport. And the picture looked like me. I booked myself a ticket on the Eurostar. At the train station in Paris, the British border guard was asking me lots of questions. At what moment, she started talking with her colleague and really ignored me for like 15 seconds. So I thought, okay, if I was British and someone ignored me, what would I do? So, hello? Yes, please, I want to get on the train. Sorry, sir. And she just gave me my passport. I was texting my friends. They said, congratulations. You made it.
At Heathrow, I told them I'm here to tour around the UK. I didn't know anything about asylum. I slept in parks, bus stops. I managed to find a Ugandan community in North London, but I don't tell them who I am. I just wanted to be somewhere I could feel comfortable with the same language. I used to listen to their stories, conversation and gossip, and in a way, they made me smile.
My asylum claim was rejected, and the Home Office sent me a letter saying my appeal was not lodged in time. From that moment, I really started struggling. They told me to leave my accommodation. I started relying on charities. I slept on the floor of people's homes, many times on the street.
My girlfriend managed to join me here, and her application was rejected. The judge said he did not believe we are gay. When he said no, that's the lowest I've ever experienced. There's no other way I can prove to them. The only way is for them to come to our bed. No one will come up to you and tell you, I am gay, I am lesbian, just like that. It takes a lot, especially for us from Africa.
This waiting for the Home Office to decide. Me? I always say that it is a diplomatic form of torture. Because my scars, they heal. It was painful. But if I touch them now, I feel no pain. But the torture that is mental, this is constant.
I've been here waiting for 9 years. I can't remember my life before this. This has become my routine, a circle. I'm waiting for other people to tell me if I can live my life. I'm very tired. I've been waiting for such a long time.
One day, 8 years after arriving here, everything changed. It was 12:23 p.m. I'll always remember that time. I received a phone call from my solicitor, the phone call every asylum seeker hopes to get. The Home Office has granted you indefinite leave to remain with settlement rights. I said to my solicitor, can I scream now? And he said yes, and I screamed with joy. I kept reading the words settlement, indefinite leave to remain, over and over again.
If I sit back and visualize it, from a sports star to this. After the Glasgow Games, I was supposed to go for the All Africa Games in Congo, then the Open in America, but this is who I am today. You just have to keep pushing. However much they say no, you keep saying yes. You never give up.
I think what keeps me driving with the Actors for Human Rights project is that it is no less relevant today than it was when it was started.
I think it's made me more realistic about how long change takes. Things have changed, slowly, incrementally, with campaigning, but it's never systemic. You know, it's never, right, we need to overhaul this thing. It's like, let's make a tweak here and make a tweak there. So I guess I realised that sometimes that's all you can do is make those tweaks and help that incremental change, but you should never stop asking for systemic change, and you should never stop campaigning for it and making people aware of that's what's needed.
You know, the day you plant the seed is not the day you reap the fruit.
Everyone has their role in bringing about positive change, irrespective of what your industry or skill set is. Why wouldn't you call on and align and combine what you believe with your skills and your craft and your profession?
As an artist, as an actor, when you don't always feel powerful, you're like, actually, I'm involved with the cause and I have a voice and I can help to elicit change, hopefully.
I also think it's really important for me as a performer to be able to help raise someone's voice who traditionally they might be, you know, outcast, ignored and not listened to. And I guess everyone wants to be listened to, don't they?